Okay. Right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is Ealing Council's licensing panel, and this is for a review of the licence of Mr. Jagmeet Singh Grover for Londis 445 to 447 Uxbridge Road, Southall, UB1 3ET. I am Councillor Gareth Shaw, and I'm chairing this panel this morning, and my colleagues on the panel are Councillor Kim Nagpal and Councillor John Ball. We also have present Makisha Grant, who is the Democratic Services Officer for Ealing Council, who is clerking the meeting, and Miss Hatun Zeb, who is the legal advisor to the panel for Ealing Council. We will begin with the review with Mr. Deere presenting his evidence for calling the review in the first place. The panel will then ask Mr. Deere any questions that they have, and then Mr. Panchal, yourself or Mr. Grover can ask any questions that you have of Mr. Deere. We will then ask you, Mr. Panchal, on behalf of Mr. Grover, to present to the panel, and again the panel will then ask questions of you, and Mr. Deere will be able to ask questions of you. Then Mr. Deere and Mr. Panchal will be able to summarise before we go into deliberation to make the decision. We'll then come back and the decision will be announced formally, and it will be followed up in writing within 5 working days. Okay, so on that note, Mr. Deere, would you like to begin and introduce the review for us, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is a review, excuse me, of the premises called Londis, but are trading as with a new name above their door as Londis. That's 445 to 447 Uxbridge Road, WB1 3ET. These premises have been licensed since May 2016, when it started as a single unit shop. It's been extended as now a double fronted premises directly opposite Ealing Hospital. And the premises license was transferred to Mr. Jagmeet Singh Grover, who was also designated premises in November 2018. The change of name has never been formally requested to Ealing Council. So, the first visit to these premises was on the Wednesday, the 23rd of February 2021. Visit the premises, complaints that the shop was overcharging patients from the hospital opposite. When I entered and introduced myself, I was met by Mr. Grover. The first thing that I noticed was the amount of alcohol in boxes that were on the shop floor, which is a breach of condition 11 on the current premises licence. A photograph was taken, which is in the pack. I entered the rear storeroom and I found 2 cases of Polish beer hidden amongst all the other stacked cases. A photograph was taken in exhibit RD2. These were on a shelf at the rear. I found cans of the same Polish beer that had been unpacked. This beer I'd never seen for sale in the UK, so I asked for the invoice from Mr. Grover, who finally admitted that he had not purchased from a registered wholesaler under the scheme, and he would return them. However, he signed them over for destruction. As no duty had been paid, he was given a first and final warning. Trained standards officers and licensing returned, excuse me, on Friday, the 26th of August 2022. Again, dealing with a complaint that the premises was selling vapes to underage people and vulnerable people. An inspection behind the counter revealed 142 non-compliant vapes. These were counted, seized and placed in the evidence bag and sealed in the presence of Mr. Aurora, who is the brother of the premises licence holder. Officer Gohari completed all necessary paperwork, and on the receipt it was written, first and final warning issued, all tobacco products of a like must be compliant. Any repeat may lead to a prosecution in court and an alcohol licence review. He signed and was given a copy of all the paperwork, including the receipt, which exhibited RD3. The last visit was on Wednesday, the 21st of August 2024, as part of a test purchase operation to test the compliance of businesses within the borough in respect of sales of alcohol to those under the age of 18. We were using a volunteer who was 15 and 3 months. He entered the premises. His role was to visit the premises under supervision and attempt to purchase alcohol in the hope that they would be challenged by the shop staff regarding their age and sale refused. However, he went to the beer fridge and selected a 440 cl can of Desperado, which is 5.9 ABV, and in breach of condition 12 on the licence. He paid, the volunteer left the shop and returned to us. At no time did the shop assistant ask for ID or ask for the volunteer's age. The can was placed in the evidence bag, which the details were filled out in Exhibit RD4. Returned to the shop, pointed out the offence, and when cautioned, he replied, "I'm sorry." The male gave his name as Gagandeep Singh Aurora, as I mentioned earlier, is the brother of the premises licence holder in DPS and is a personal licence holder. An inspection sheet was completed, and again, that is a copy is in the papers. So in total, over the 3 visits, 142 non-compliant vapes and 3 cases of Polish beer, 72 cans were seized, and the unpaid duty amounts to £600. I say that the premises licence holder is found to promote the prevention of crime and of disorder and the protection of children from harm licence objectives by selling illicit products. It finances other criminal activities, causes antisocial behaviour, and allows them to undercut compliant premises. And due to the above incidents and obvious disregard for the law, I would ask that the ultimate sanction open to the committee be excised and the premises licence revoked. That is the evidence in this case, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Deere. So first of all, I'll open up to questions from the panel. So I don't know if Councillor Nagpal or Councillor Ball have questions. Yes, Councillor Ball, you indicated, and then I'll come to you afterwards, Councillor Nagpal. Thanks.
Just one. I mean, clearly, I understand that having boxes on the floor of the shop is in breach of condition 11, but I don't think I've come across a case of that before. What's the purpose of that condition, I suppose, really? So it's saying that they must be on shelving or racking, not on the floor. But what's the reason behind that one?
It's basically to stop 2 reasons really: to stop the shop overstocking, and also to make it easier. To stop it making it easier for people who want to come in and steal from the shop. Those are the reasons behind that condition. Okay.
I mean, I know some off licenses in Sandford, for instance, they do have cases of spirits because people buy, they buy a whole case of spirits sometimes, and so it kind of, yeah, I guess what were the products that were there? Were they things which people might buy in a whole case, or does it just look like they were overstocking?
Mainly, sir, what they actually do, they actually go to not wholesalers, but they go to places like Tesco's, Asda, and places like that, and buy 2 cases for a certain amount. You always know when these cases have been bought from premises like that because they're actually undersized bottles. So next time when you're around, so if you go in, they won't be 330 bottles, there'll be 250 or 300. And the reason behind that is the trade don't want basically unlicensed premises selling those from their pub, because they like to sell them full size beers. But no, people do buy cases. Yes, of course they do. But these weren't marked up. They were just stacked there, and I say in breach of that condition, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, and Councillor Nagpal, you had a question.
Thank you, Chair. I have 3 questions, if I may. Great. So, Mr. Deere, was any of the non-duty paid beer actually displayed in any of the fridges for sale?
No, no gas, so none was found in the excuse me, but there was one case that had been split up, or maybe two cases, because when I put them all back together it come up with 72 cans, so 3 cases, but they were spread all around the store, and in my opinion that was to basically hide them within amongst the other stock.
Thank you. My second question, when you visited to find the illegal vapes, did you also or were you able to check if their alcohol at that point was fully compliant? Did you find anything that wasn't? Were you able to check?
It was checked and everything else was compliant.
Thank you. And my last question is, did the premises have Challenge 25 posters on display?
I'll have to admit I didn't see those. They may have been there, or 21, but I can't say either way, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Dear.
Okay, thank you very much. No, I don't have any questions. Councillor Magpal and Councillor Ball have asked the questions, some of the questions that I jotted down, and some of the queries. So, Mr. Panchal, do you have any questions for Mr. Dear, or does your client as well? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. I do have a few questions only, not much, because Councillor Nakpal's got the confirmation regarding the second visit when she asked that was there any alcohol which they found on February 2021? Were they again displayed on Friday 26 August? And the answer Mr. Dear gave was no. So they were everything complied with. My question is the same to Mr. Dear, that your visit on 23rd February, you took away those goods, and then in your visit on Friday 26 August, were there any non-compliant alcohol found, which you found in February, again in 26th August?
No, I've already said there was no non-compliant beer.
So they were not found, and the premises was compliant with with what you found on February 2021.
Yes.
Yeah. Then again, you visited on Friday 26th August, and those vapes were found. You collected the vapes which were illegal, or 142 non-compliant vapes, which you took it away. And then on your visit on Wednesday 21st August 2024, did you find any vapes which were non-compliant again?
We didn't look for anything because obviously the test purchase.
So in other words, when you looked at it, there weren't any non-compliant vapes. Is that
we
what
didn't look for any vapes, so I wouldn't know if there was compliant or non-compliant vapes there, sir.
Okay. I will do my presentation regarding that later on. Apart from what happened on Wednesday 21st August, was that underage sales carried out by Mr. Gagandeep Singh Arora, or the license holder, Mr. Jagmeet Singh Arora?
Mr. Gandeep Singh, his brother, sold.
So Gagandeep Singh Arora carried out the sale. That is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Grover wasn't on the premises.
Thank you very much, Chair. We don't have any more questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So in that case, if there are no other questions, which there aren't, I will ask Mr. Panchal for his presentation, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to quickly give you the breakdown or the background of Mr. Jagmeet Singh Arora and Mr. Gagandeep Singh Arora. As you have heard from Bob, that they took over the premises in 2018 when the license was transferred. They have been very compliant. This shop serves, as you are aware, opposite the hospital, the Ealing Hospital, and all the doctors, nurses regularly visits the shop, and they are the main customers of the shop. They are aware of what is available at the shop. There are also other people local people using the shop. but majority of the time it's the patients and the doctors and the nurses using, and it's very useful for them. When they finish their shifts, they come in and purchase the alcohol. There is a conditions that I'm going to go through that the shop is under. Those conditions that you see on your, if you go onto your page 20 of the bundle, page 27, 28, 29, which I would like to explain, which the Aurora brothers are complying with, as you heard. Yes, they had a problem in purchasing, as far as I'm concerned, and what I've asked Mr. Aurora, that why was the alcohol there on February 23rd? Mr. Aurora said, yes, we did buy that alcohol, that the Polish beers, from a wholesaler, and the wholesaler was prepared to take it back because there were no signs on it, which was Mr. Bob's views were on that. And it was bought from BMW Cash and Carry,
Yeah.
which they have an invoice for it also. But again, Mr. Aurora did not dispute with Mr. Bob Deere and allowed him to take it away and destroy it, and they did not thereafter. After February 2021, you heard from Bob that they were in 2022, those compliance was completely legal and there were no alcohol present which was not non-compliant. So they did not go on to buy the beers again from BMW Cash and Carry. The vapes, they came into August 2022, were available again by a receipt from Southall Charles houses, and they thought that the vapes were legal because receipts were given to them. Again, Mr. Bob Deere said they are non-compliant, so we are taking it away. And Mr. Aurora said, fine, we are happy that we now come to know that those vapes are non-compliant and shouldn't be in the shop. So again, when the next visit came in August 2024, none of those vapes or non-compliant vapes were present in the shop. You can see the compliance carried out by Mr. Aurora's when they came to know that things were not supposed to be in the market. You see these things in the market everywhere in the shops, and the shopkeepers are sometimes duped into buying those because they have been provided with the receipts. Having provided with the receipts, they feel that it is legal, but they are now understanding from the guidance they are getting. They are supposed to be getting the guidance from the trading standards and people like Bob Deere, who is the enforcement officers. But some people do not comply, but here you see there is a compliance as you go forward. Coming down to the Wednesday, 21st August 2024, as you heard from Bob, that the sales took place from Gagandeep Singh Arora. In reality, the sales did not take in the initial sales to the underage person did not take place from Gagandeep Arora, but Mr. Gagandeep Arora was standing at the till because, sorry?
Stop the serving the
Yeah, the staff served that the staff, Suryakant served the customer at the initially, but he brought the money in and he asked Mr. Gagandeep Arora to say, here's the money for the product, then how much is this product? And Mr. Gagandeep Singh Arora, we provided the medical reports of Mr. Gagandeep Arora, as he's not so well, so he's not serving people, but he's always on the till. And at that particular instance, he said that is that's 250. The cost of the product is 250, and the staff served the customer. And as soon as Mr. Bob Deere came in and said that you serve somebody who's 15-year-old, the Gagandeep Arora and Jasmeet Singh found that this is not correct what the staff had carried out.
I'll show the CCTV cameras.
So CCTV cameras were also shown that Mr. Gagandeep Arora did not serve the customer. The customer was served by the staff, and that staff who made a sale which he should have not made the sale was immediately removed from the shop and is no longer working at the shop. The matter was immediately taken into. The staff initially, when he was employed, was fully trained, was made understand about the 4 licensing objectives, and also made understand about the challenge 25. As he did not comply, he was relieved from his duties, and this was the first. So immediate action was taken to make sure that the staff are following all and complying with the conditions of the license. So that's what our actual procedures are. So there is no deliberations, or there is no, as you see, that the shop is trying to comply as in when they've been asked with, or when they realize that something is gone wrong. Compliance is immediately taken care of. That is our view at the moment. Regards to the cases lying on, yes, it is against the licensing objective of public safety. That is what I'm coming back to. When you have cases laid out on the floor, and we've been already told to them that such cases should not be on the floor because it obstructs the people coming into the shop, and it is under the licensing of public safety. And they've noted that, and measures are taken in. At the premises, which Bob says he did not see, but I can assure you, the premises has a challenge 25 policy, and there is a challenge 25 posters at the premises. Even if you visit now, you'll be able to see the challenge 25 policy is in place, and even CCTV cameras. There is a CCTV notice also put up at the shop. I've also sent you the documents you might have on your supplementary thingy, that there are checks carried out, or there are refusals, and they have an EPOS system at the premises. The EPOS system immediately comes up to say product ID should be asked, and if it is refused, the EPOS system carries out a refusal. Those are already sent to you in your bundle, and you must be having those refusal notices. So those matters are also carried out at this instant, because Mr. Gagan Siparora was at the tail, and the serving staff did not pull that onto the tail. The non-compliance occurred, and we do apologize for what has happened. And that the client is very apologetic of what has happened, and action has already been taken, and the staff has been sacked from the premises. So, Chairman, that is what our presentation is. I will come up on the summarization when Mr. Bob here, but we feel that matters are in place. The shop is complying. It has a regular customer from the hospital, and that. Yes, your question would be to us that what further action, or what under the Licensing Act, what would a punishment come on this side? We will leave that to the committee to decide, but we feel compliance is taking place. We're very sorry for what has happened on that particular day, but matters have been taken into place and staff has been sacked. There is a training manual which is followed on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Panchow. So any questions from the panel then? Yes, so Councillor Ball indicated first. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So two questions, maybe two and a bit. The evidence in the pack is that at the time of the underage sale, there were 3 members of staff on the premises. Would you agree with that?
How many? 2 UN staff. Who else was at the premises?
Me and my staff in the
22 of you.
yeah. To on Suraj.
Ajo Suraj.
Yes.
Yeah, there were 2 people. Sorry.
Okay. And really, the heart of this. So yeah, I understand you're putting the responsibility on the member of staff that actually made the purchase, but yeah, the DPS's brother was also the sale. I mean, sorry. The DPS's brother was also present. So why couldn't he see that somebody underage was walking up to the till with a bottle of beer?
He's here with us, so I'm going to ask him to answer that question. It'll be much easier for everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So आपने उसको मना क्यों नहीं किया लड़के को कि भी सेल नहीं करो?
मैंने देखा ही
तो अब loudly बोलो, English में बोलो.
sir.
That is Mr. Gagandeep Arora, who was present at that time of the sale.
When I'm the counter my till in the counter behind, my stop is coming. I'm the busy one. You know, my letter is coming to my shop. You know, all letter is my redirection. I need a very urgent letter. I just important letter. I'm busy on find my letter. My stop to show that this thing can say how much you can make it 250. I can't see in the behind you know who guy is serving. You say 250 is give it me 10 pound. I put the 10 pound counter and then 750 I give you change. Please make it don't come my side. I'm very busy. I find my paper is very urgent paper. My letter. Then after 5 minutes, you know, Bob coming, everyone coming. You serving the underage. Make it, sir. I'm no serving underage. I show you CCTV camera. I show you. I show the CCTV camera everything. I'm in the busy in the counter. Like, I'm no serving. My staff do it. Then after
The question is,
I check the counter, everything. Say I will check your vape something. You sell underage, make a no, sir. Is you know big vape. You say make a no, sir. Last time you give me the chance and you do ask me don't do this thing again. Okay, I'm follow you. I can't sell the doji vape something. We check the counter. Everything is check the counters. No find it, sir. I'm no selling. Now everything legit and legal.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is that you generated the change, but you didn't see the how well the person was.
Yes, I'm not see the person. This person is selling the. I see on my staff. I'm very busy. I show the CCTV camera everything. This time I find my papers. You know, already my medical condition is too much. You know, 2021 is my very big accident. In my car crash, 119 mile. I'm 3 months coma. After 48 days ventilator, nearly my 7 operation done. My whole body, my whole face, metal frame. You know, I just find the paper. I'm just very worried my papers.
Okay,
This is
right.
happening. This is metal is happening.
Thank you.
I'm
And
very sorry, sir. I know apologize must. When it's same happening next day, I kick out my staff. I don't wanna again to trouble. Please leave the shop.
okay, thank you. There was one other question. Mr. Panshall, you said that the Polish beer was bought from a cash and carry, and there was a receipt. Is that? Can you show us the receipt? Do you have the receipt as evidence?
that matter was clear. The 2021 matter that we are talking about. The reason we said to you was that we then did at that very instance we did not although we said to Bob there is a receipt and everything, but Bob said we are taking it away because it is illegal, so we're going to be taking it away. It has got no writings on it on the English, so that matter was finished. So we did not produce the invoices and the matter was destroyed, and thereafter Mr. Singh did not approach that cash and carry to buy any of those stuff. So those stuffs were never brought back again in the shop.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. And Councillor Nagpal, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Aurora, can you please tell us how long that employee was working for you, the one that you subsequently let go?
कितने साल काम कर रहा आपने?
2 हफ्ते वाला 2 हफ्ते कैसे समझा 2
He worked there for less than 2 to 3 weeks. So he was a student on a part-time. He had just joined the premises.
Less than 2 to 3 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
so during that period, how long was that individual undergoing training? Were they working while they were training, or were they trained and then put to work?
All staff, when they initially are employed at the premises, are undergone an hour or 2 hours training regarding the Challenge 25, regarding all the stuff. he was trained and he was spoken with that how he should be serving, and he particularly just after that incident, when he was asked that we will not be further employing, he just went away.
Okay, and I appreciate this isn't a requirement of your license, but do you have a log of the staff and how often you train them? Do you have anything?
Yes, there is a staff training manual at the premises.
And that individual's name is within there as a trained individual. Okay, thank you. Can I ask how far physically Mr. Gagandeep Singh was from the individual who was serving?
इतने दूर से
मैं यहाँ पर हूँ, जहाँ पे यहाँ ये दरवाजे था, ये कुर्सी पड़ी है इतनी,
about say roughly about 5 to 6 feet. Let's put it like that. This is what Mr. Gagandeep is from. I'm just guessing. I'm not good at, but I feel this about 5 to 6 feet.
6 feet. Okay. And was it possible at all for Mr. Gagandeep to just look up and have a look at the customer that was coming in to be served? Or was there something physically in the way, or was it possible for him to see?
Normally, he could have, but what he's trying to say to you while he's sending you the documents, he was very busy at that time when the documents of his results or whatever had come in about the medical. So he was going through his documents and he said to his staff, I'm very busy, don't disturb me at the moment. Yes, I'll give you the change straight away. And if he had known, if he had seen the person from the other side, I'm sure he could have said, no, sorry, you can't serve him, or ask him for an ID. Which they do normally. That is why you see the refusals. The reason we've asked you, refusals we've sent you in the pack in the supplementary, is to see that, yes, we do normally ask refusals very regularly if anybody turns up.
Okay, can you just elaborate a little bit in that case on the process that you follow if an underage person comes in, and subsequently how and when you log the refusal?
Sorry, ma'am, do you want me to do it, or do you want Mr. Rowe?
The individual, of course, the
Mr. Rowe, right.
or Mr. Gagandeep Singh, please.
Thank you. आप अंदर ले जाते हैं ना अपनी दुकान में. Sorry, I'm going to use the language and ask them in English then to you what your question is. कि अंदर ले जाते दुकान में तो कैसे पूछते हैं उसको क्या करते हैं वो बताओ. कोई भी आदमी आए तो उसको ID दिखाने दे किस.
Yeah, anybody they come under 18, we look forward. Basically, our counter and the alcohol section close. When I see this way, I say, kids, you don't need to go allowed this way. Go as it's medium. When I come to the counter, we ask for the ID. Can you show me ID, please? If anybody show me ID, we serve. Otherwise, I can leave on the counter and I will put on the till, so it refuse for the ID show. And after some people go, some people they say swearing, some people they shouting. I say, look. Some people they say I show you the on phone. I say no, I want a physical ID. If you show physical ID, and I serve you, because it's no point. As some people they say on the phone, I want a physical. Phone is the tricks they gonna do. Physical ID, I have to serve. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
And what sort of IDs do you have?
The driving license, passport, something like this. We can check how much. Even I count like this. It's 22, 2001, 1 5 minute take time. I say, why you take time? I say, I need correct. I don't want to rush to serve you first.
How soon after the refusal do you log it and how?
And refusal book I have in the shop, I write it down. I say to your name, you don't say, and swearing I understand because the kids. And this shop mostly coming hospital, nurses, doctor. So no much coming kids. And in the morning. In the morning coming all patients, mental health patient with security guard. So this is for us good. There's no any trouble coming. All with the patient coming mental health, they with security guard. For us, very easy to serve.
Thank you. Just final question then. So the refusal log you've sent to us is you've copied that from the physical book in the shop?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I do just have a couple of questions myself. First of all, about the refusal log. I noted that the dates were for autumn. You know, did you have the refusal log for this was in August 24 when the 15-year-old was served? did you have the refusal log in place then in August last year?
ये जो रिफ्यूजल अगस्त में थी ना, वो लॉग इन की थी आपने?
मेरी टिल में सारी है.
I think so. My till app, EPOS. If I say my EPOS department guy,
2000.
he will send me. Because that day I was not in the shop, and after I was
2024.
I was very worried about why he done this happen behind me, and I was completely shocked. And Mr. Bob, when they came after 2-3 months, I don't much remember. And he put in the blue there. He said, "I will review." I said, "Bob, you know very well. And 5-6 years I was working here. Never happened. It was a 3 case of beer." He said to me, "I was never no." Even I said, "Bob, if you want, I will give to back BMW cash and carry. They will refund me." He said, "No, I know how to get the very quickly invoice. I know very well with you." And I quite myself. I said 3 case. I was I say, "Okay, you were very well know. You want to take it, take it." And after no any letter, nothing. Even if you give me chance of the return wave, they can charge or take back because they know I pay money and they take invoice. If he never they refuse, if I steal something product, after I don't have option to take back, I say to him, "Bob, if you want to sit with my car, we can go together cash and carry. They know who are you. You know you are unknown person. I can go front of you, make a video, I can return it and I take money back. If you follow this rule, I can go with it." Because this is cash and carry, they go to pallet. How I guess is a dodgy or legal or illegal? Because they go to pallet. When I go Charles, they got millions pound stock in the waves. I take one case for the display. And how I guessing this is a illegal or something non-compliant product? He got millions pound. He display on the count in a showroom. There's no point.
Now you don't buy it.
No, after the Bob suggest me, I never go that way because I'm going now the Mesa cash and carry, BMW Big Max cash and carry, as Tamana cash and carry, Basway cash and carry. There's a proper invoice writing down name. I pay from there. Even the good thing now, they're taking every cash and carry, they card payment, they everything incoming invoice. If you need, we can provide you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We won't need that. I also noted, Mr. Panchal, you mentioned that now when the product is bought, the till issues a reminder that there's a system in place that flashes up on the till. So I'm assuming if alcohol's being bought, it says challenge 21 or challenge 25 or whatever, or you know. So was that system in place in August last year, or is that something that has been installed since?
It has been in place. It's called the EPOS system. The EPOS system is placed in there. And in this instance, when the staff sold it, that they did not click on the EPOS system because Mr. Gagan, we do apologize. The client does apologize that particular instant it wasn't done because he was busy with his medical reports and that, and the staff just said, "I'm selling this. Can you give me a change?" And so he quickly gave it in. And that is the reason. So he does apologize for what happened on that particular day, but normally it doesn't. Every product will have to go through the EPOS system.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And I noted that it's, you know, in the conditions there that are on the license, you know, it does sort of say challenge 25, challenge 21 is in place. I mean, clearly you have mentioned that the staff, you know, failed to do this. But, you know, there is a big difference between a sort of 21 or 25-year-old and a 15-year-old. I would have thought, and at the till, and I appreciate Mr. Aurora, you know, said that he was busy with an urgent document that he had. But, you know, bearing in mind that, you know, the EPOS system gave a warning, Mr. Aurora opened the till, that, you know, he didn't just glance at the person who was served at all.
Yeah, sorry, Chair, we're not disputing. We'll not be disputing the sale on that night. We're not disputing that at all. All we are saying is we are following the conditions laid out at all the stages. There is a mistake that happened on that particular day. that should have not happened, for which Gagandeep and Mr. Jasmeet Arora raised their hands up and said, yes, we made that mistake. We're not going to argue about that. That should have gone through the TPO system, whereby they clicked and said, ask for ID. Any products that are to be sold, there is an EPO system in place, which normally gives them the idea. And that particular day, it did not hit the EPO system, for which they're very apologetic. We're not going to argue about that. We may go on discussing about it, but again and again, Mr. Jaspreet Singh said, yes, I raised my hands up. I had a problem that particular day.
No, I appreciate that. And finally, just on the conditions, I noted that condition 12 does just mention the sale of beer and cider should be restricted to nothing above 5.6 ABV.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah, it is 5.6
Chair, I think Ms. Zeb has dropped off the call. I think so. Should we wait till she comes back?
She did message me. She was logged out, so she'll be back shortly.
Yeah. Okay, we'd better just pause for
fine, yeah.
Miss Seb to come back. Thank you, Councillor Ball.
And when we start again, yeah, I'd like to ask a question to Mr. Deere that arises out of this evidence, if that's possible, afterwards.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we'll go back for the answer when Miss Seb's returns. What I'll do is I'll re-ask the question, and then if you can answer it, Mr. Panchal.
Thank you, sir.
He said perhaps has a problem with the internet connection or something like that.
I believe it might be a restart in the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have a tendency to do that quite a lot, don't they? Sometimes, yeah. And
Absolutely.
I mean, there's never a good time for it to restart. I hope she hasn't been putting off the restart for 2 or 3 years. Otherwise, it might take some time.
Chair, if I may, I've just thought of one more question for the DPS when we restart. It's a short one. Thank you.
And I also had a message from Hattie. She'll be back shortly.
Okay, so welcome back, Ms. Zeb. So we just paused because you dropped off. Councillor Ball pointed out to me I was in the middle of asking a question that you were dropped off, unfortunately. So we just paused it. So Mr. Panchal, I was just asking the question that so condition 12 of the licence is that, you know, the beer and cider stock to be sold is 5.6 ABV. Yeah, and then if I could just ask you a question, Mr. Deere, that what was the strength of the Desperados beer that was sold to the 15-year-old?
5.9, sir.
Okay, so it was 5.9, so it was slightly higher than the specified condition 12 there. Thank you. Now, I didn't have any other question, but Councillor Ball had a question, and then Councillor Nagpal after that.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So that's right. A question to Mr. Deere. So in Mr. Hayter's evidence from the underage purchase, he said that there were 3 members of staff in the shop altogether, but I think we've heard from the applicant side that there were 2. You were also present. Do you recall whether there were 2 or whether you saw 2 or 3 members of staff?
There were 3, sir. One near the
Okay.
back door, one at the front, and one behind the till.
Okay, thank you.
1 2 अब 2 till पे थे, ये नहीं थे, 3 staff थे, वो बता रहे थे वो लड़का आया था. Sorry, I'm just sorry I'm going to ask the client why there was.
नहीं मैं खड़ा था, मेरा फ्रेंड साथ में खड़ा हुआ था.
और वो स्टाफ था.
वो एक स्टाफ था, मेरा फ्रेंड साथ में खड़ा था. मैं अपने पेपर मैंने फाइंड करके मेरे को जाना है, अपने फ्रेंड के साथ में टुगेदर हम निकल रहे हैं. अपने पेपर ढूंढ.
There was actually this in reality, what the Mr. Gagandeep Arora says that there was actual staff were only 2, but there was a friend of Mr. Gagandeep who was also behind in the counter near. They were looking through the papers, and that is why there were 3 people at the time. But the other person wasn't working in the shop. It was just a friend of Gagandeep.
Okay, thank you.
And Councillor Nagpal.
You need to unmute.
Councillor Nagpal.
Sorry, my apologies. I just wanted to check with the DPS if it's standard practice to train new employees for 2 hours only before you set them to work on their own.
Standard practice है ना, कितने घंटे तक आप उसको ट्रेन करते हो?
2-2.5 घंटे.
बोलो
2-2.5 घंटे, 2.5 an hour. I just anytime at the free on the floor, I say, come, Mrs. When it's quiet, my staff come on the till and you check how is the customer coming. You can see me. How can I ask for the ID? How can I serve? And how can you look the customer as well and look around here? Because some people are stealing, some people they are funny, and some you can look at the action as well on a customer.
कितने घंटे की ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हो वो बताओ.
2 hours and 2.5
hours, 2.5 hours. We can give you training after I'm certified. He said himself. Sometimes I sitting behind the counter side. You can serve the customer. He did everything right. Even I'm shocked, sir. That day how he did the mistake. Some, we can't trust the guy. We cannot leave the counter. I can go for my work, and after he done something wrong, and he doesn't say to me. He next day he don't come to my work because he know he done wrong something. We can only trust. Look, I'm right myself. I thinking this staff also right. We cannot trust no any choice. We cannot trust because I can't sit all the time in the shop. And I'm really apologize, sir. I don't know what shall I say. I don't have any words to. He did like this. Even he doesn't. I see in a shop back. If he came back, I can bring here because this country you can't say anything. I said you. I mean, when I tried to call, he disconnect my call because he getting me trouble and he run away. Since Bob gave it to me later, I couldn't sleep. Every time thinking what's going on, what's happening with me, because if I don't have family, I can sleep in the shop all the time, 24 hours to see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
And next day,
That's fine.
and one more, once it happened, next day, shop robbery. Even I showed the Bob CCTV, look, next day robbery, I was all night in the shop game, and too many destroy, all shop messed. Already I'm stressed and a robbery, and this is stress, sir. I don't understand what I say to you. Only I have apologize.
Okay, thank you. And then just a thanks again. Any other questions from Councillor Nagpal Ball?
Thank you, Chair. No.
No, and I don't have any other questions either. Oh, Mr. Deere, you have a question, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Well, unfortunately, I can't speak Punjabi, so I'll have to speak in English. And Mr. Grover and Mr. Aurora have understood me very clearly every time I spoke to them. You've entered some evidence of refusal logs into the paperwork, but they only start in September. Your till has got a button that you press for a no sale or a refusal. That's what generates the three refusal logs that you've sent us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't write them out by hand. You haven't got a refusal book. You press a button on the till, don't you?
Yeah, they do.
Mr. Grover, you press a button on the till and it produces a written copy when you request one or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So you haven't got a refusals book, have you? Like you said
If you
earlier.
want, I can provide you.
No, I don't need a refusals book because you've got a button. That's fine.
Yes.
But you haven't produced any prior to this date. I would have thought the best evidence to submit today would have been May, June and July of 2024 to indicate that you made a mistake, that you were compliant, but you haven't, have you?
But there is in the till. The EPOS system carries all the refusals as back you can go. How back can you go on the till?
Every 2 to 3 months finish and again restart new. Like CCTV camera, 1 month recording after deleted and again new starting.
Okay,
Same
so
EPOS system.
So you've produced
every 2
3,
months,
even though it goes off after 2.
Renew.
So every 3 months, what Mr. Arora is saying.
Oh, it's 3 months now. Sorry.
Yeah, every 3 months, the till starts re-recording again.
Okay. On some of those items that you've refused, I just want to check something. On the 7th of November, you refused 2 Merry Christmas greeting cards. What was the reason behind that? What is a Merry Christmas greeting card?
Sir, Merry Christmas greeting card. Yeah, that's why refusal. This is refuse. I just customer will ask the price £2.49. Customer asked me. I just go. Go somewhere else. Is £1. Make it please. I don't mind. Go other shop. I can't give you £1. Is my price is £2.49.
That's not a refusal, is it? Unfortunately, if I go into a shop and I know down the road I can buy a card for £1 in Card Factory or whatever, I'll go to Card Factory. You haven't refused me. I've decided that you're too expensive.
Sir, so many people coming, not like you are graduated.
Also,
so many people, there's something different mentality.
Yeah, I know.
So what shall I do?
the 12th of November, you refused somebody a strawberry Swiss roll.
Yeah, because once it's tilled, and then when you take it back from the till, it becomes a refusal, and that is why.
No,
Look at the
no, it's
manifest card,
refusal of underage.
underage as well as the
It's
refusal.
not. That's not a refusal, Mister. If some.
Yeah, but it's returned back in the
Yeah.
till. That is why.
Yeah,
it's
that's
coming
not
as
a refusal because you haven't sold it, so it's not going to affect your audit, is it? Please, I'm not a businessman, but please
I understand.
tell me.
Sometimes so many customer my behind.
Right.
I just avoid it. I just avoid the receipt.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just avoid and then go to refusal. You know, point.
Yeah.
I just serving other customers.
Okay.
Not seeing
Because you are one different job, our different job. Even
Also,
the mental hospital coming patient, they shouting because before I don't know who's they came. After I asked where they came, they are coming from prison, stabbing. They are very dangerous people. They're taller. Sir, come tomorrow morning behind the counter. You, sir, and you know who is coming.
well, if your rate of pay is good, I might consider that. But they are.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You also, on one day, and I'll have to look back if you need me to, but you refused the sale of Zilich. Zilich is a beer, Polish beer again, 5.7. Zilich. All right, Zilich. That's 5.7. You refused the sale, quite correctly. Again, you're a breach condition number 12.
We didn't sell.
You're selling. You've got your stock in, Mr. Panchel. I shouldn't have to tell you, should I? Stock is being displayed in that shop, a breaching condition. Technical or not, that's a breach of conditions. You also sold on the 21st a can of beer. Why didn't Mr. Aurora, his eyes light up and think, hang on a minute, why am I getting one single can of beer for sale? You're not allowed to sell single cans. Are you?
That's why he's refused. That's what he's saying.
He didn't refuse. You sold to a 15-year-old boy. You didn't refuse it.
Sir, when you came last time, I remember quite. Front of you, the customer take from the two beer can, and you see the fridges. They are labeled minimum 2 can, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you see and you understand. And one customer, I think so. Remember, they asked to me why minimum 2 can. I say, and that day it was you there. I said, not ask me question, ask for this guy Bob. He will explain you better than me. And you explain that after he bought the 2 can, because even some people they say, oh, the council allow me the more drink. I said, not my rules and regulation. The council restriction, we follow that. Whatever the council say, I say yes, because I don't have any explanation to council why this condition. Council say do this, I say fine, because this is good for me. 1 can people buying, they pay me 175. They buying 2, 350 coming in my pocket. So better our increase sale.
Yeah, but on the 21st of August, you not only sold breach 2 conditions. 1, you sold a beer over 5.6%, being in a desperado. Well, in fact, 3, you breached the law. You sold to a 15-year-old youth, and you also sold a single can to him.
Sir, basically, that day I was not there. And the second, I told you other day, I got a exchange shop because there was sometime delivery coming is this shop, because this store is big, so I can keep it in the storage. And how he kept it and how he sold it, I never know about these things, sir. Yeah. When I remember newly you asked me before it was I starting the new business, you tell me, Jagmeet, did you see your license? I said no. After you say you can read it. After I read it, because that was my first time in my life business is starting, and after I be most careful. When you visit the shop, how easily I come out the till. I said, Bob, whatever where we want to go, check it behind the counter. Even you go inside the store, anywhere you want to go, check it, because I don't want to do any trouble, because I know people do trouble and after crying. I said to him, Bob, anywhere you want to go, check it. And after this,
Mr. Grover.
Yes, sir.
I'm surprised Mr. Pancho hasn't stopped you already. However, you've just admitted there that in 8 years, when you've had your license, or 7.5, you haven't read the conditions on it.
He said
You just said you've never read your license. You've never read your license.
I think you misunderstood again, Bob. He's saying that initially when he came in, that is the time that you explained to him the conditions and everything. That is about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's not talking about now. He's talking about 10 years ago when you, when you had interaction with him, he cooperated. I'm very impressed with him that he's cooperating with you, talking with you, and telling you exactly what he should be doing and not doing. He's cooperated with you when you took the vapes away. He's cooperated with you when you took the beers away, which were not correct. And thereafter, he's cooperated with you in not stocking those beers or not stocking those vapes. So again, he's cooperating right through.
Right. So what you're saying, Mr. Pancho, is that your client has to be caught before he complies. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he should be caught to be compliant. I'm not saying that, because I'm trying to say that when he bought the beers, which he bought it from the cash and carry with a receipt, so and you notified that the cash and carrier sold him something which he should have not bought. He immediately complied with and made sure he never went to that cash and carry again.
Right.
Because there are cash and carries around that we've seen. There are cash and carries around that we've come across, and a lot of our customers have come across, that do tend to sell things that they shouldn't be selling. There are that.
Well, let's not get in an argument. We're not talking about it, Mr. Pancho, today.
The enforcement officers.
Mr. Pancho, we're not getting into an argument about
I'm
other
going to have to
premises.
step in here. Thank you, everybody.
Sorry, Chair, we could go on.
Mr. Pancho, thank you.
Yeah.
We're going nowhere. We're talking over each other. So let's just stop. Let's just stop there. So, Mr. Deere, do you have any other questions?
I've got two more
Mr.
questions,
Pancho?
Chair. Two more questions. One is Mr. Aurora said that he was so busy behind the counter with his friend looking at letters. Why did he not go somewhere else and get his trained staff, person who allegedly picked up this can off the 15-year-old and gave it to Mr. And the money to Mr. Aurora? Why didn't he go behind the till? And why didn't he look at the 15-year-old boy and say, because he is a boy, and say, you can't buy this?
That's exactly where he's apologizing to you, that because he was busy with his medical report that had come in from the post, and he was there with his friend to discuss about that medical reports that had come through his post, which we've sent you there.
I'm just on the phone.
And he was on the phone with the medical department, whatever, with his friend, and that is why he apologizes to you right here today, that he should have gone there, for which he apologizes. He's not denying that, but he's apologizing to say, yes, I should have, from what mistake he was carrying out.
Right. Okay. And the last question, you said, Mr. Roy, you offered to show me the CCTV, but you didn't on the night. You never offered to show me the CCTV because I had another officer with me.
None is coming when you same time is coming the two to three people. Is something trading all your staff member 3. Then as
There's
say,
two of us. Yes.
Yeah, 2. Your white shirt one. Say, make a sir come in. You come in the inside counter. I show the CCTV. I stayed for my phone. I will show the CCTV. I'm not serving, and other guys agree. Say, yeah, I know you know serving. You just pass the money.
So in other words, Bob, the CCTV was shown to you. Am I right in saying that?
No, it wasn't shown to me at all.
You did. Did you show the
same time I show you CCTV camera, sir?
Mr. Aurora, if you'd shown me CCTV, I would have asked you to download it immediately, to give me a copy of it, and
yes,
it would have been produced today.
I provide it, sir. I give you the CCTV camera.
I don't need it now.
No, he showed it to you on the day.
No, he didn't. No.
You old one I give you today, brother. old one, same. I can't make the now. You just I show you the old one. I give you. I have my phone in the recorded.
Yeah, I've never received any footage regarding the sale of that.
Yes, he did.
On that day. Are you talking about on the 21st of August, 2024?
Sir, I'm really sorry, sir. I'm very. I know sometimes it's happening, sir. When I'm coming here, I don't know. I'm go home. Some middle in the road accident, something mistake. I don't know, sir. Next 1 minute, any happening. Sir, this day I am very sorry, sir. Apologize.
Right. Okay. Chair, I've no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, everybody. As there are no further questions, then we will go to the summary stage of the hearing. So, Mr. Panchal, would you like to summarise, please?
Chair, first of all, in my summarization would be that the client has already apologized for the mistake that occurred. The client is complying. The client is complying. You've noticed in the past that as soon as matters were arised, immediately compliance was made. I cannot say much about it, but we've discussed a lot about it. This shop is quite popular with the hospital and the doctors and the lawyers, the doctors and the nurses and that. So, Chair, we feel compliance is available. Yes, my clients do apologize for the incident that happened on that particular day, and we'll make sure no incidents happen again at the premises. Chair, I'm quite happy to leave for what mistake has caused on the premises. We feel that a short suspension of a week or so would make my clients understand that if it's a major issue that should never happen again, although they understand that it should not happen again. The shop is dependent on the family. Presently, the family depends on the shop, Chairman. And I don't think I have much than what we've discussed today and presented to you. But again, my clients are very apologetic for what has happened at the premises. And they're very sorry for it, and it will make sure that it will not happen again. We would not like to come back in front of you any time in future. So that's our presentation today, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Panchal. And Mr. Deere, would you like to summarise?
Very quickly, Chair. I'd just like to say first, I'm fully aware of Mr. Aurora's accident and the reasons behind it, and obviously probably the suffering that he went through, because Mr. Grover has told me. I've been to the shop before and found it compliant, but that is always in between, between these 3 visits. And we mentioned earlier about the vapes that were non-compliant. We mentioned the alcohol that was non-compliant, and there was no duty. It never been sold it wasn't being sold in the by normal, I call them normal wholesalers in the UK. Yes, probably an offer. One thing is, I come to these meetings regularly, and I'm sure you've heard the name Charles House numerous times. Anybody that buys anything from Charles House, I'm afraid, knows what they sell there. We know what we sell them. Unfortunately, resources, we cannot go down there every day, or trading standards can't anyway, can't go down there every day because one, the staff is so few in numbers. Well, we'd have to work 24 hours a day down there, and the shops close immediately. But they cannot give you they cannot take stock back because, and we can't allow them to give the stock back because it's illegal. And all the people down in Charles House would do is sell it to someone else. So you've heard that over the 4.5, 5 years that I've been to the premises, I would say the offences have got gradually worse. There was the early one with the non-duty paid alcohol, the non-compliant vapes, and now a SAL, where, and I'd say I sympathise with Mr. Aurora, his condition that was brought on by an incident, but perhaps he shouldn't be working in the shop. You know, we heard that he was sorting for a letter. Now we've heard that he was on the phone to medical people. Perhaps he shouldn't be in the shop, and you surely shouldn't have friends behind that counter, two people behind that counter, that one untrained apparently, and then we have a person that's been there 2 to 3 weeks, apparently been trained 2.5 hours. Why wasn't he behind the counter selling? Why didn't he know? Look at a boy. I mean, you look at a boy and you can tell he's not 18, you know. So it's a very serious offence. And the offer of a 1 week suspension wouldn't paper over any cracks. A minimum suspension of 3 months would be needed. One, to gain all new staff, to replace Mr. Aurora, and to clear out the beer that shouldn't be in there, and to perhaps have more signage on the walls. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deere. Right, so that concludes the hearing part of this panel. So we will now retire to deliberate on the decision, and we will come back and give the decision formally. I'm looking at it's 11:15 now, so I think if we return at midday, that's 45 minutes time. I think that should be enough for us to have deliberated and come to a decision. So we will restart at midday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.